Okay, guys, welcome back for week 2 of dieting with Justin the Diabetic. Here I am. Woohoo! Yay. Um, I will start off with a little disclaimer. This week wasn't as good as week 1. My work week was extremely stressful, which resulted in me eating a little bit more than I wanted to. But in the full fact of me disclosing everything to you, we're still going to review the week, and I'm going to make a goal to myself to make week 3 even better. So let's get started. So health and activity. Thanks to the wonderful world of Apple, which I live in, I am actually going to complain. I can't review my health data on anything other than my phone and my Apple Watch. So I'm going to read my weekly summary from my Apple Watch, so that way I can share that with you, and then we're going to dive in deep with my CareLink reports from what food I've entered and the amount of insulin stuff that I've been using for the week. So let's get started. So this week I think I rode once. I was kind of active at the beginning, and then I kind of slamped off. So this week I burned a total of 4,004 calories with an average calories a day about 600. I did 12 miles last week, and my active time was, it says 50 minutes, so that's probably the rowing on top of some other moderate activities that I probably could have done. So with that being said, how is the diet going for me personally? Week 1, I have a smart scale. I connect it with my phone, and it tells me what I weigh. I try to weigh in the mornings after my shower. Typically, I don't have much clothing on, and then I just have my pump with me. So I've been weighing, and my app has been keeping track of that. I believe I started on March 10th, and the last time I weighed was the 18th. I know that this video is going to be posted on the 22nd. It's recorded on the 21st. I do apologize. I don't have an active weight. I got sidetracked the past couple days, and I've either eaten or gotten fully dressed before I realized I forgot. So I do apologize for that. Week 1, my trends I saw was losing about a half a pound a day. Just with the activity that I was doing and the cut back on the food that I was eating. From the 10th through the 18th, so in 8 days, I had lost 4.8 pounds total. To me, that's kind of where I want to be. I don't want to be in a spot where I lose the weight extremely quickly. I want to slowly lose the weight and make a overall lifestyle change for the better. So that's where I'm trying to go with this progress. I have looked at some things that I can eat with snacks that don't have hardly any carbs. They do have calories, but I'm trying to cut back on the carbs to help reduce the insulin usage. So that way I can try to lose the weight a little easier without constantly taking insulin and have to worry about that without losing using more insulin makes losing the weight more difficult. So I'm trying to cut back on overall insulin usage. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry for that little blooper. All right, so with that being said, how is my insulin usage? So the first report that I'm going to go over is an assessment and progress report. Time period A is from the 15th of March through the 21st, which is today, the past 7 days. And it's comparing the first 7 days of the diet. So about March 8th through the 14th. I know that doesn't match up perfectly, but it's going to give you guys a good idea of where things are trending. So for data point A, let me minimize it just a little bit over here on my computer so I can see it better. So data point A, which the last 7 days I've been in range 92%. I think that's amazing. I did have 2 instances this week. One was a site change. I probably should have used the 9mm cannula for the location that I put it, but I used the Mio Advanced with the 6mm. And that left me some issues with insulin absorption for a couple hours. That plus I changed about by the time I ate, so that generated a high. I went up about 250, and I was there for a little bit. So that's kind of why I was in the high range for 3% of this week and then 5% in the high range. Auto mode, Medtronic, the time in range ranges from 60 to 200. Is the way it's set up on my CareLink. On my pump, high is 70, so I try to get that alarm a little before. Maybe I can correct it before it goes over, but I have been noticing things that I can do to do better. My morning breakfasts, if I do eat breakfast, are typically a Jimmy Dean breakfast bowl of about 15 carbs is what I think that the ones I have are. And then I do 2 pieces of toast. I'm doing honey wheat toast, and on the bag I think they're 12 grams of carbs per slice. I program for 45 grams of carbs, and I have not been programming early enough for those. So I have noticed that my blood sugar will rise to about 200 and then quickly fall back down within range. That's just me. It tells me I'm programming for the right amount of carbs, but I need to program a little earlier. So I'm going to try to work on that over the next week. Comparing this week's data versus last week's data. Last week, my time in range was 87%, with 11% of that being between 200 and 250, and 2% of that being within 250 plus. That compared to this week, there has been a increase in time in range. So we went from 87 to 92, and then the super high range went up just a hair from 2 to 3%, but then the overall highs in general went from 11% to 5%. So the time spent high has decreased from 13% to 8%, which I'm very happy with. I do want to try to work on programming earlier for certain meals to try to keep the time in range. Ideally, I would love to see a whole week closer to 98%, or maybe even 100. I have noticed that this week I did have several days at 100%. So looking over at things like panned the wrong way. Looking at my carbs entered this week, I entered 191 grams of carbs plus or minus 74. I know that's not ideal, but compared to a couple weeks ago where I was doing 300 plus, I think that's still a good improvement. I do have it broken down in a different report of what I was actually doing per day, and I think that will kind of help explain that to you guys. So looking at insulin, so my average insulin this week was 151 units, which to me is really good. I want to try to keep that below 150, so I'm getting closer to that goal, even though I was eating a little bit more than I wanted to on some days. Last week, the total insulin was 156 units. My bolus amount has decreased from 66 units to 58 units. And my auto basal has increased from 90 to 93 units. So as you can see, with that data, auto mode is ramping up just a little bit to kind of keep my blood sugars a little, I think, more steady, or maybe correct a little bit of a higher blood sugar than what should have been corrected with a carb ratio or carb counting. The average sugar was 153 plus or minus 36. That did go up a little bit from the week prior, and I do believe that is because I was eating a little bit more. So I'm not that upset with that data. So, I closed out the report that I wanted to look at. I wanted to touch base on you guys with how things looked. So Monday, looking at the data, looks like it was one of those days where it was almost 100%. I think it was a 99% day. I did have one period after lunch, which would have been the start of my day, where it went over 200 just a little. I think it peaked at like 205 and then quickly came back down. Tuesday was one of those days that was 100% time in range. I did not go over 200 at all. Wednesday was also the same. Then the stress from work kind of hit and that bad infusion set. So I did go up on Thursday. I think I went up about 260, 270, just because of I had just eaten and then I had problems with that infusion set. And then Friday night, I'm trying to think of what I had then. Friday night I had another high that went really that went up there. I don't necessarily know. I think it could have been an issue with my carb counting, but that was the second high for the week. And then for the most part, Saturday and Sunday has been kind of normal. I've been right around 200 for a little bit, trying to get some things sorted out with the new sensor started last night. So hopefully this week I get more days like the beginning of this week or beginning of this last week to where I get hopefully I would love to see 3 or 4 days consecutively at 100%. That's going to be my goal for the week and try to see how that works. So kind of move on to the next report. So with that being said about Monday and Tuesday, Monday I ate a total of 110 grams of carbs, which is good. That's what I'm trying to shoot for. Tuesday was a little bit higher at 170 grams of carbs. Wednesday was 196. Then Thursday was one of those I ate a lot days with 310 grams of carbs. Friday was 170. And then yesterday was 130. And Sunday, so far, I've eaten 130 grams of carbs. So I think that's a little bit of me trying to correct a high. So hopefully I don't eat too much later. It might be a bigger day today, but we'll start fresh with the cutback on the eating on Monday for week 3. So that's kind of all the information for this week. I am happy with the results so far. Like I said, I don't want to do anything dramatic with the weight loss that could cause me to lose control with my insulin sensitivity and stuff like that. I want to gradually make adjustments to lose it. The biggest part that the most difficulty that I run into is when I'm at work. It's easy as that. I sit at a desk for 10 hours. I often get bored. There's not much activity. I want to kind of graze. So I am grazing on things that are low carbs, like some cheese sticks and occasional beef jerky. So if I can keep kind of doing that, I'm not seeing an issue with doing that, but I did on a couple days have a larger breakfast or like a lunch. Since I'm coming to work at lunch would be the adequate way to describe that. So that's why those carb values are higher. I'm trying to limit myself to 150 units a day and about 150 carbs. It's kind of where I'm trying to keep and look at things. So this next week, I'm going to try to crush week 2 since it's been a bad week and try to get everything under control for the way that I want it to be. Those of you who are enjoying this video about the dieting, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, and subscribe so that way you can stay updated. These diet videos will come Monday at lunchtime, and then my weekly updates with the 770G will come Friday at lunchtime as well. That'll give you guys plenty of time to watch those. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. This is kind of a learning process, for me. I'm trying not to, though. My doctor does not want me to do anything similar to the keto diet. She just doesn't feel that that's sustainable, so I am staying away from something like that and trying to make an overall lifestyle change. So that way, when I get to the desired weight and the desired insulin stuff that I want, I can then move forward with living a normal life and keep the weight off. So that's my goal. That's the plan for that. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to send me a message and let me know, and I'll try to answer them as quick as possible. Hope you guys have a great week, and see you next time.